I think that what people often assume, right, is that, okay, so if I'm going to be speaking on a stage or if I want to pursue more speaking or more presence, being seen more and being on these stages, I need a whole new wardrobe. I need to completely revamp. I need to be wearing some of these like neon, sparkly, whatever suits that I'm seeing these women wearing. Like, I have to keep up with that. What's your response to that?
If you want to, if that makes you feel confident and you're not doing it for the rest of the world, go for it. But I think you need to also take a check inside yourself and make sure that that's what you want and that's what's aligned with you and your brand and your mission. And you can go up on stage wearing whatever you want. I know speakers that go up there wearing sneakers, jeans, and a t-shirt. And then I know people who are wearing, these sparkly suits and sandals that are wrapped all around their leg, just like all the way up to their knee. Like there's so many different styles. The fun thing is really about what I do is just helping women find that style that's meant for them and then giving them permission to actually step into that. Hey everyone, welcome to the Tori Cruz Show, where we're shining a light on real conversations and transformational stories with some of the most dynamic entrepreneurs and faith-driven leaders you'll ever meet. I'm Tori Cruz, your host, entrepreneur, virtual stylist, and former Miss Missouri USA, ready to guide you along this exciting journey. This isn't just any podcast. It's your new home for stories that uplift, conversations that transform, and a community that feels like family. From the real challenges to the exhilarating moments of achievement, we cover it all, infused with adventure, laughter, insights, and heartfelt discussions. So settle in, make yourself comfortable, and let's get this show on the road. This is the Tori Cruz Show.
I'm so excited to have you here because number one, I know everyone's going to just get so much out of this conversation. I love chatting with you, but also I'm just excited to unpack more about you. And actually, this is one of the blessings of having a podcast is I get to know people I've met even better in these one-on-one sessions. So I'm just stoked. Can you just tell everyone a little bit more about you and who you are?
Yes. So I am a small town Iowa girl who has a strong passion for helping women be seen, feel attractive, and be confident. And I'm on a mission to accomplish that here on this earth.
I love that. And how do you actually do that?
So I do that through my virtual styling business, where I help women refresh, realign their wardrobe to attract higher level opportunities, to become their best self, to step out of that old Ben. It's new you, new wardrobe. And that's exactly what I do.
I love it. This is what I've known you for is that you're specializing in helping people style events. When you say style for events, you mean like when you're hosting, you're on stage, you're attending, all of the above. What is your specialty there?
Yeah, so lifestyling for events, that is completely, you're right, Shannon. That is my jam. That is my bread and butter, primarily for speakers. So I am huge on helping women feel confident when they're on stage, because sometimes that can be really intimidating when you are speaking at an event and you just want to go up on that stage. You want to feel confident. You want to feel like yourself, and you want to make sure that you're reflecting your brand and your brand mission. And so my bread and butter is really helping those female speakers get up on stage, feel confident in what they're wearing and their image. And also, you're taking a ton of photos at events. We've all been there as women, right? And men, where you take photos at events and you look at it and you're like, what the heck was I thinking about wearing this? And actually, I work with women also on posing. So that is one of the biggest things is like, not only am I going to make you feel confident in your clothes and help you find that perfect wardrobe that feels like you and reflects your brand, but also how to actually pose with that wardrobe. Because sometimes we have this blazer on or a top or a pair of pants that are wide leg and you're like, how in the world do I make this look flattering? That's what I also help with. And then also I do help with styling for event attendees. So there are quite a few of my clients who I work with who are attending a lot of different business conferences, women conferences, all over the world. And they want to go in there and they want to stand out. They want to be seen. They want to feel attractive. And so I do help women with that as well.
I love it. And I know from experience and from speaking to women, especially, okay, guys, you don't understand how many brain calories we burn with what to wear, especially if we're going to be on a stage. And here's the thing. I feel like half the reason we're hesitant to get on a stage is because we're not confident enough. Like, what if I'm like wrinkled? What if I'm, popping out a muffin top here? Like, I don't want people to judge me and be staring at me because we're so image conscious. And I think that people underestimate how much of our mindset and how much of our headspace is going toward what we look like being a reason to be seen or not be seen. You agree?
Oh my gosh, completely. And I actually know some speakers who their number one rule is they must feel comfortable on stage, because you can have a really dynamite wardrobe, but if you're not comfortable, it is distracting you from your message. And so that's my job, is literally to make you feel comfortable and confident at the same time, which can sometimes be a tough balance because we're wearing heels or we're wearing a stiff blazer or pants that are super tight, and so finding that balance is really important because feeling comfortable is important not to distract you away from what your message is when you're up there.
Yeah, and I think that what people often assume, right, is that, okay, so if I'm going to be speaking on a stage or if I want to pursue more speaking or more presence, being seen more and being on these stages, I need a whole new wardrobe. I need to completely revamp. I need to be wearing some of these like neon, sparkly, whatever suits that I'm seeing these women wearing. Like, I have to keep up with that. What's your response to that?
If you want to, if that makes you feel confident and you're not doing it for the rest of the world, go for it. But I think you need to also take a check inside yourself and make sure that that's what you want and that's what's aligned with you and your brand and your mission. And you can go up on stage wearing whatever you want. I know speakers that go up there wearing sneakers, jeans, and a t-shirt. And then I know people who are wearing, these sparkly suits and sandals that are wrapped all around their leg, just like all the way up to their knee. Like there's so many different styles. The fun thing is really about what I do is just helping women find that style that's meant for them and then giving them permission to actually step into that. Because a lot of times that's all we need as women is just that permission. And that's exactly what we do, is just come in and give you permission to wear what you want and where you want it.
Exactly. What are some of the first questions you ask a client who wants to step into a new confident self on stage? What do you unpack with them first?
Internal. We are just talking off camera here, and it's so funny because styling is such an external thing. It seems like you walk up, you see somebody, and it's like, boom, you see their outfit right away. But actually, the first thing that I dig into with clients is who they are as a person and what they want to reflect, how they want to be known in this world, and what they want their wardrobe to say about them. The first part is really diving into who you are. The next part is really diving into your brand and your business, your mission, vision, values, all of that. And then we focus on the wardrobe and the styling and all that fun part. But really, it starts from the inside.
What type of question would you ask a new client that would help get to the root of that exact thing? So, do you take them through a process? Do you ask them certain questions about themselves? What are the core things that help you unpack that internal so that you know what to do?
Yeah, so it's really just asking them questions about what their vision is, like where are they wanting to actually go? Like who are you now and who do you want to become and how do we fill this gap? What do you have to achieve? Who do you have to become in order to get to this person that you desire to be, that next version of you? And so then we really dive into more like the confidence is always number one. I mean, that is the first and foremost. Number one response is I want to feel more confident. Okay, great. How do we do that? What part of you is lacking the confidence right now? And how can I help empower you to then feel that confidence that you desire so that when you walk into that room, when you walk out on that stage, you look and you feel the part? Because honestly, Shannon, that radiates more than anything else. It's like you can have this gorgeous wardrobe, you can have a really cool hat, you can have a really awesome, blazer on. But if you're not radiating that confidence from the inside, then nothing else matters. And that's what truly like where your power and your purpose comes from. And so that's really our first step in everything that we do.
I agree. But you also live that too. So what's funny is we met at Girlfriends in Business in Arizona. And it's hard to miss you. You also had, I think, 3 outfit changes during the course of the day because you also were doing some photo shoots and stuff. And I was like, I love this girl's style. I love this girl's outfit, which is exactly what you were going for. Because I didn't even know what you did. And then I was like, oh, this makes total sense. Tori had this like stellar outfit on. But then what's cool is over the next like 3 days, I actually got to know you better. And I was like, 100%, I was visually like, okay, cool. That girl's outfit's awesome. That could be the end of somebody's interest in you. That could be. Is like they could acknowledge that and say, okay, cool. But then I spent more time with you too. And I was just like, it completely matches like her level of enthusiasm and energy. Like she puts the effort into this that she does. I feel like you do everything with energy. And I said, she's just also doing that with energy. And that's, I think, exactly what you're trying to do with clients as well, right?
Yeah, 100%. Thank you, by the way, because that is like one of the greatest compliments that I could receive is that my style and my energy and my personality all matches because that is what I preach. But To your point, I did do one wardrobe change during the 1-day business conference, had 2 different outfits. But I want to focus on that for a second because anybody can do that. And I actually believe everybody should be doing that for business events. And the reason why I say that is because, yes, I did have my photographer with me and we were documenting everything for content, but why shouldn't everybody be doing that? We all need to be documenting content left and right. And when we're at these business conferences, sure, we're investing in ourselves, but also we're investing in our clients and our business because that's bettering ourselves. And then we're pouring into our business, which is then making it a better overall experience for our clients and everybody who we work with. So the reason why I did the wardrobe change is truly not because I'm a stylist at all. If I was actually in your field as a fractional CFO, let's say, I would still be doing it because the reason is, yes, more content, but number 2, attraction. You have no idea how many conversations were started in that room because people are like, whoa, you did a wardrobe change. I was like, yes, I did. And they're like, oh, that makes sense. And I was the only one out of 60 women who did a wardrobe change. But it was because it shifted the energy, it shifted the focus, it created conversation. And that is what every single person is trying to do, every business owner, just more conversations all the time. And so it switched that energy, it switched that conversation. And it was just like a massive conversation starter that led to so many more contacts that I probably would have never met before.
I love that. It's a pattern interrupt because like we turn around and we're like, Tori, when it was mostly like how fast you did it. And like, when did that happen? Like we're just at lunch. And then we come back for the afternoon session and we're like, she looks totally different. And it was like this like Superman, whatever phone booth moment where I'm like, where did she even do that? Like, where was she? I just saw her 5 minutes ago. So it was super cool because it was also seamless and it didn't detract from the event or have you miss an opportunity to do something because you were getting changed. I think that's something too that people are like, oh, like I don't want to take all the time. Like there's a way to do it. I don't know how you did it. It feels like magic, but you did it. The pattern interrupt was really cool too, because it called attention. And I think, why are we so scared of that? Why are we so scared of creating attention? I'll say this. We got a lookbook for that event. Remember, you did it actually, didn't you? You did the lookbook.
I'm actually just now sending the one this time for Lori too, just literally today.
Okay, guys, listen. She did a lookbook. Lori sent out a thing that was like, hey, if you need a point of reference on what to wear, which is super helpful, look at this. This is a good example of some stuff here that you can use. Phenomenal move for your business, by the way, because that's a really good way of like, hey, like here's a taste of what to expect. But also, what's cool is look at that. But I think people are afraid to deviate from that. People are afraid to look different. People are afraid to do something different or to stand out. Why is that? And what is your take on it?
I couldn't agree more. That's the whole mission that I'm on, is to help people feel more confident in being different, being unique, and being okay with attracting. Like being attractive, number 1, I think is a huge thing, is being okay with being attractive and attracting other people and making a bang, like literally making, just like that was like, there was a pattern interrupt. And I'm going to be honest with you too, like just because I did it doesn't mean that I wasn't a little bit nervous about doing it, because I knew that there was nobody else in the room that was probably going to do that. And so I knew that I didn't want, my biggest fear personally, and this is just going deep within myself, is like, personally, is like, I don't want people to think that I want it to be about me. And that's like my whole reason of why I didn't want to do it. And truth be told, I was just thinking about this yesterday. So it's really funny that we're talking about this. I was just thinking about it yesterday. And I was like, should I do that again here in about a month when I go to Girlfriends in Business? Should I do another wardrobe change? I'm like, dang, maybe I should do 3. Truthfully, I was thinking to myself, I don't know if I'm going to do it this time. And the only reason why was because of that F word called fear. And it was fear of people judging me, fear of people thinking, oh, she just wants to get attention, or, oh, she just wants to make it about her. When in reality, that's not the case at all. It's because I want to meet more people just like you. And so it's sometimes just getting out of our own way and pushing fear to the side. And I know people are always like, don't care what other people think about you. We're humans. Like, let's be honest, we care. It still crosses our mind no matter how much personal development work we've done.
Okay, so let me unpack that for a second too, because this is fun. So again, like worst case scenario, you do it again. And then people like, okay, they think that because out of the 60 women in that room, we're women. Come on. There are a handful that were like, This chick thinks she's the shit. What is she doing? She's trying to make it about her. She's taking some attention away, blah, blah, blah. And like some people judge. Who cares? Then they're not going to hire you. And it's okay. And like, did it affect you that day? Did you feel any sense of judgment in that room? And did it actually affect you?
I didn't, but also I had to literally have a mindset if I was going to do that like I did. I had to have the mindset of, I don't give a shit. Did it cross my mind for 1 second? I'd be lying if I said no. It was I a little bit nervous to walk in and have a different outfit on and people like notice and people think like, oh, she's trying to steal the show. Absolutely, I thought that, but I literally got rid of it in a split second because I literally couldn't give a crap what other people were thinking because the only people that God wants in my orbit, in my life, are the people who are like, that was pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. That sparked an idea for me. Dang, you know how many women came up? My only thing is, if I help influence one woman in that room to do something like that, mission accomplished.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth all the other stuff. It's completely worth it. And yeah, my version of that would be I have this fear, hesitation, whatever it is, that if I show up a certain way, that I command the comments of like, you clean up nice. Wow, you really tried today or whatever, because I'm not known for getting super glammed up all the time. Once in a while I do, but it's a pattern interrupt for me to be super high glam. And then of course it commands comments. Even if they're complimentary, I'm like, I just don't want people to go, that's different for you when I look nice. Cause it's weird, like backhanded compliment in a way where it's just kind of like, I'd like this to be normal. I'd like to just be like, like acknowledge it. But it's always hard to accept those like observations, people pointing stuff out, even if it is like something you tried to do. I think we just feel this weird shame around trying too hard.
Yeah, that's interesting too. I wonder, do you try to push away the attention?
Sometimes, yeah. It's like I don't want to command attention for the way I look or have people point out things about the way I look. It's kind of this weird like, ooh, like I'm like shrivel up in my corner and be like, don't look at me. It's kind of like a shyness thing I've had since childhood. But it's like that comes up a lot. And we're talking about like women at events and on stages. You got people with a really big important thing to say, but they have so much insecurity over how people are going to nitpick how they look or what people are going to think. But we're focusing on all the wrong stuff.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that because I think that's really something that a lot of women actually are more like than me in that sense, where I'm kind of used to being the extrovert going out there and I don't mind getting attention and having that conversation with them about like image and because that's my expertise, that's what I do.
Right.
And a lot of people are actually more like you were, they don't really care to have that attention on them. But you have such a large purpose and a large calling in this world that it's actually a disservice if you're not getting the attention and talking to those people. I'm not saying you have to be an extrovert, but people need you and people need your gift and your calling in this world. And so that's what I love doing. Somebody like you, for instance, she was like, yeah, you know what? I don't need all the attention. Don't come up and talk to me about like, hey, you look awesome. You look beautiful. You look gorgeous. I don't need that, but thank you anyways, It's like, how can we create something? It's almost more of a really fun challenge for me to be like, all right, beautiful. How can we create this like amazing look for you where it doesn't necessarily draw a ton of attention to you because that makes you feel like uncomfortable when it stand back a little bit. But how can we create an image where you're like, you walk in there as a little different. Like you walk in a little bit, actually like Shannon Slag. You walk in those doors a little different. Where's that fun little balance? Because not everybody needs to be loud with their wardrobe. There is a certain wardrobe that you can have where you walk in with a little bit of extra swag going on, but it's also not like flashy. Does that make sense?
Totally. Because like you brought up in our initial chat was like some people really prioritize comfort. And by comfort, we don't mean joggers and sweatpants and stuff necessarily. Like comfort is also like comfort in your own skin where you feel like you're not tugging at things, insecure, spending mind space on like where things are and if things need adjustments and whatever. It's more about I feel at ease where I can focus on the right things without worrying about this. I feel like that's the comfort you're talking about.
Yes. Yeah, completely. And I mean, sometimes clothing wise too, for all women listening to this podcast right now, we all know like when we step through the doors at home, we want to toss off our bra because it's like way too uncomfortable the entire day. This speaker, this is what she actually does. She never wears a bra on stage. She like sews in the padding. And it was so funny because this actually happened in pageantry. I never wore a bra on stage for pageantry because I literally had it sewed into every single one of my outfits for Miss USA, every single one of them. What I didn't know at the time was I was actually eliminating that distraction of discomfort. And when you eliminate those distractions, just like literally anything in life, when you eliminate the distractions, then you can focus on what's more important. And so I was focusing on my performance more than being super uncomfortable in my clothes. And same thing with speakers. So there is a way of like eliminating some things, on your wardrobe physically for comfort. But then, also there's the more internal side of things too.
Yeah, I agree. That's a really good point, actually. Is like, how can you eliminate sources of discomfort so you can focus on what really matters? And in a weird way, that's also part of what you're doing. Is you're like stripping away layers of discomfort to accomplish whatever the goal is for the client. And I think that it goes way deeper, Tori, than like I help people style their outfits. Like, yes, that's the visual component. Like you have a visual product of what you do, but I think that it goes so much deeper than that. I want to unpack that a bit more. And I want to dig into, you mentioned Miss USA. So we haven't talked about that, but we're going to talk about that in the next episode because I want to hear more about your background and kind of how you came into that and go through a bit of your business and how you've built it. So we're going to continue this conversation on the next episode.
Thanks for tuning in to the Tori Cruise Show. If today's episode inspired you, let's keep the momentum going. For our YouTube family, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you're always in the loop with our latest episodes. And for our podcast listeners, your ratings and reviews are incredibly valuable. They help us reach more people and continue bringing inspiring stories your way. Remember, this isn't just a podcast, it's a growing community of family. Every like, share, and review helps us grow on our journey together, helping us to highlight more impactful stories. Until next time, keep being the light for yourself and others. See you on the next adventure.